Topic 1. A precious water resource. Key Stage 1.
Hello and welcome to the world of water resources. I am your tour guide, Water Save Dave. You can call me Dave. First, let me introduce myself. Did you notice my W-shaped pants? The S-shaped mark on my belly? My D-shaped mouth? And also, my body shape is like a water droplet. You've guessed it. I'm the mascot for the Water Supplies Department, or WSD for short. I was born on the 22nd of March in 2016, which is also the World Water Day. That's why I was born for a special mission to advocate cherishing water resources and promoting water conservation. We are here at the World of Water Resources today. I will first introduce the uses of water, followed by the general situation of water resources all over the world. Lastly, I will introduce the water consumption pattern and water resources in Hong Kong. I hope after the tour today, all of you can learn to cherish water resources.
Dave, what exactly do water resources mean?
Good question. Why don't we watch a video first and have a brief idea of it?
水喺人體裏邊咧係好重要㗎。咁而喺一個成年人嘅體重入邊咧，有大概60%都係水嚟㗎噃。水喺人體嘅各種生理活動當中咧，亦都起住好多好重要嘅作用㗎。我哋食咗嘅食物，首先係靠唾液、胃液去到消化，然之後靠血漿、淋巴液等等負責吸收、運輸同埋處理嘅任務。佢哋大部分咧都係水嚟㗎。身體亦都透過呼氣、出汗等等調節體温，血液循環亦都係靠水嚟到幫助進行㗎。所以我哋每日都要飲足夠嘅水㗎。咁究竟每日要飲幾多水先至夠呢？一個正常人啦，平均咧每日要飲2至3公升嘅水，而夏天咧就要4公升。身體一旦缺水，我哋就會覺得口渴，呢個就係身體要補充水分嘅信號，通知我哋咧要補充水分。一個人如果失去咗大概15% 嘅水咧，就會覺得難受，可能會昏迷。如果唔及時搶救嘅話，可能會有生命危險添。對於人嚟講，水比食物咧係更加重要㗎。呢個講法絕對唔誇張㗎噃，因為如果冇咗食物，只要有水就能夠依靠消耗身體入邊嘅養料維持生命幾日，甚至乎係10幾日添。曾經都有報道過啦，有人喺荒野度迷路，好彩就靠一啲儲水，竟然能夠咧維持生命10幾日，直至得救為止。人類嘅衣食住行幾乎冇一樣嘢可以離開水，例如你朝早起身刷牙洗面就要用到水。去洗手間沖廁亦都要用到水，清潔、沖涼、洗衫、煮飯全部都要用到水。喺已開發嘅國家，水就似乎唔係咁矜貴啦，平均每人咧用大概300公升嘅水。而喺開發中嘅國家，由於雨量少，水就成為一種昂貴嘅商品啦。
What impression do you have of water resources after watching the video?
Water is really important to us. We cannot survive without water.
Furthermore, water is the source of life. Without water, there wouldn't be any lives, humans, nor any civilizations on Earth. Both of you are correct. Water is a precious resource to humans. Let me ask you a question. Do you still remember how much water a normal person needs to drink in one day? It was just mentioned in the video.
I know the answer. We normally need to drink about 2 to 3 litres of water, while in the summer we will need to drink about 4 litres of water.
That's right. People can survive for a period of time without food, but if we lose about 15% of water in our body, our health will suffer, or it might even threaten our lives. Besides, water is necessary to our daily lives. Here's another question. As mentioned in the video, which parts of our daily lives require water? I remember we need water for teeth brushing, face washing, toilet flushing, cleaning, bathing, doing laundry, cooking. They all require water. Correct. Apart from them, what are the other uses of water?
Transportation and agriculture. We make use of the buoyancy of the water such that ships and boats can float on the surface of the sea. Through agriculture, we can obtain food to satisfy our needs.
Industries also need water. Water is a significant raw material for many production processes, especially in the chemical industries. Without water, many products cannot be produced. You two really did pay attention. Well done. In fact, water can also be used to generate electricity. For example, flowing water can turn the blades of a turbine, which spins the generator to provide electricity. This is called hydropower. On the other hand, steam from boiling water can also run the turbine to turn the generator, which produces electrical energy. This is called thermal power.
I never knew water could have that many uses.
Yes, that's why we have to cherish water. Otherwise, we would never know what happens next.
What do you mean?
Water is a limited resource. If we waste it, the earth would run out of water in one day.
How is that possible? We have so much water on earth, it should be more than enough.
Let me put it this way. Have you gone swimming at the beach with your family before?
Of course. I love swimming in the summer.
So, have you ever drunk some seawater accidentally while swimming?
Yes, it was extremely salty.
That's right. Seawater contains a very high concentration of salt. Therefore, it is not suitable for us to consume directly. If our body takes in too much salt, it will be a great burden to the kidneys. That's why we can only drink fresh water.
So how much fresh water and seawater are there on Earth actually?
Let's have a look at the world map here. Even though you may think that we really have a plentiful source of water because 2/3 of the Earth's surface is water covered, the truth is most of the water you see is seawater, whereas only 2.5% of all water on Earth is fresh water. Say we have 100 glasses of water in the world. Only 2.5 glasses have fresh water. But still, not all of the fresh water can be used.
Why?
Among the fresh water resources in the world, a large part of it is the polar ice caps that have not yet melted. Therefore, the amount of fresh water we can really use is less than 1%.
Does that mean if we have 100 glasses of water, we can't even use 1 glass?
Exactly. What's worse is that the distribution of fresh water across the globe is very uneven. How is that so? Apparently, most of the fresh water resources in the world are concentrated in just a few countries, such as China, Russia, USA, and Canada, etc. Whoa! If they already accounted for most of the fresh water in the world, then the other countries would likely be in shortage of fresh water. That's very true. Regions such as Africa and the Middle East are threatened by geographic and climatic constraints. Therefore, their freshwater resources are really scarce, and they are constantly under water shortage. Why don't we watch a video to know more about the situation of water shortage in Africa?
Their picture is worth 1,000 words. A grandmother worn down by the AIDS virus with a little girl who cares for her. At only 9 years old, she's her grandmother's lifeline to food and to water. It's the water that worries the grandmother most. Dorcas is the water bearer for her grandmother Mara, weak and frail from disease. The water she carries is beyond hideous.
Ngurube hiranya, ingombe hiranywa, ibazera barazera.
And not only would they drink from the pond, sometimes the animals would die there. Dorcas and her grandmother suffered from constant diarrhea. Dorcas has missed so much school to take care of her grandmother, and sometimes she herself would be too sick to go.
I never thought that some children in the world need to share and drink the same water as pigs and cattle.
Not just that. As you can see, the water is even contaminated by the dead bodies of animals. That's horrible. That may sound impossible to us living in Hong Kong, but in different parts of the world, this is truly happening to a lot of people on a daily basis. Even though the water is dirty, that's possibly the only source of water for the local residents. They drink this water just because they have no choice at all. Drinking the unsafe water often causes sicknesses or even deaths.
Deaths?
According to the reports of the World Health Organization, WHO, and United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, every year 340,000 children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea because of consuming dirty water. In a bigger picture, 2.1 billion people in the world lack access to safe drinking water, which is 3 out of every 10 people in the world. Besides, in order to get the fresh water, people who live in the remote areas have to walk through long and bumpy routes on foot every day. The average distance that women in Africa and Asia walk to collect water
is about 6 kilometres. How long is 6 kilometres?
In terms of a standard 400-metre running track, that is 15 laps.
I can't even run a lap on the sports ground without panting. But those people need to walk with such a weight on their shoulders. That is absolutely not easy. Not to mention that the water contains impurities and germs. What if they place a few buckets right outside their home to collect rainwater? Then they would not have to take such a trek to fetch water. Rainwater might even be cleaner. I like your attempts to solve the problem. However, the problem is not that simple, because rainwater is not something that is always available for them to collect, especially under such extreme weather conditions now due to global warming. Droughts are much more frequent and fiercer than ever. Some places have very low rainfall year-round, or even get no rainfall. No rain? That means no water as well. Apart from that, without water for irrigation, crop failure is common. Even drought-resistant crops cannot grow well in dry soil due to deprivation of nutrients. Both humans and animals need water to survive, so not only do crops die, livestock would too. Seems like you both get the idea of it. Crop failure plus death of livestock would lead to famine. Just like in East Africa, those people are constantly under the threat of climate change. Because of frequent droughts, nomads who rely strongly on pasture land are under an unprecedented crisis. I think we are extremely blessed to be living in Hong Kong without worrying about the cleanliness of water and water supply.
We really are blessed, but don't let that mislead you to think that water shortage only happens in developing countries. A lot of developed countries also experience such a problem, including those water-rich countries we mentioned earlier. They are also facing threats of drought. In fact, water deficiency isn't that distant of a problem from us. Our textbooks always tell us that China holds plentiful resources of every kind. Why is it still under the threat of drought? Yes, surely China has relatively more freshwater resources. But don't forget the massive demand from a population of 1.4 billion. Inland areas always experience dry weather and low rainfall, sometimes even drought. That's why I have been telling you how big of an impact of water shortage to our daily lives is. The whole world is facing a water crisis now. If we don't start implementing water conservation measures to save water, it's forecasted that around half of the world's population will be living in water-deficient regions by 2025.
You always say we need to save water. So how much water are we actually using?
In Hong Kong, the average domestic water usage per capita is about 130 litres a day, which is about 60 big bottles of 2-litre soft drinks. That is not counting the water for toilet flushing. Besides, the world average for domestic water usage per capita is about 110 litres a day, so the water usage in Hong Kong is still considered high, then what is the suggested amount of water use? Actually, according to the WHO, 50 to 100 litres can be more than enough to satisfy our daily needs. In that sense, we are way above that standard. Yup, annually speaking, Hong Kong has used up to 1 billion cubic metres of fresh water in 2018.
Sounds like a massive number, but I have no idea how much that actually is. How much is 1 cubic metre?
It is equivalent to 1,000 litres. That is 500 big bottles of 2-litre soft drinks.
A billion? That is 500 billion 2-litre soft drink bottles. My goodness, that is an insane amount.
Let me explain using a simpler example. A world-class swimming pool has 2,500 cubic metres of water. 1 billion cubic metres is equivalent to 400,000 swimming pools of water.
Can't believe Hong Kong people use so much water in a year.
Where did all this water go? Out of the total freshwater consumption, domestic consumption takes up the largest portion, with over 50%. Second is service industries and commercial use of water, such as in restaurants and hotels, taking up a quarter of the total freshwater consumption in Hong Kong. Other uses include using fresh water for toilet flushing by industries, government establishments, and construction and shipping. Cumulatively, the total fresh water used annually is 1 billion cubic metres. We use so much water. Where does all our water come from in the present? The water in Hong Kong is mainly supplied by 3 sources: rainfall collected from local catchments, imported water from Dongjiang in Guangdong, and seawater for toilet flushing. In 2018, they make up 21%, 57% and 22% of the total water consumption in Hong Kong respectively.
I see. Only a small portion of water is actually coming from collected rainwater.
How does the rainfall gathering process work? Rainfall is first collected by water catchments, which then flows into impounding reservoirs. This map shows the distribution of catchment areas and reservoirs in Hong Kong. Yellow indicates the catchment areas. The rainwater collected is directed to reservoirs, indicated by the blue regions.
What is the largest reservoir in Hong Kong?
There are currently 17 impounding reservoirs in Hong Kong. The one with the largest area is the Plover Cove Reservoir. It is also the first reservoir in the sea in the world. It was an unprecedented project and an imposing construction at the time. As for the largest capacity, that goes to the High Island Reservoir in Sai Kung. That is also the most recent reservoir.
Then which one is the first reservoir built in Hong Kong?
This I know. That is the Pok Fu Lam Reservoir in Hong Kong Island. Correct!
So how does the water stored in reservoirs reach our home?
Rainwater collected in reservoirs, together with Dongjiang water, will be transported to the 20 water treatment works in Hong Kong. After undergoing different stages of treatment, the water is clean enough to be transported to pumping stations, then stored in service reservoirs. Lastly, the water will be supplied to consumers through the water distribution network. That sounds complicated. Of course, you should now understand that having a reliable and safe drinking water supply is not a must.
Yes, we do.
OK, let me give you a quick test. What have we learnt today?
Water is a very important resource which has a lot of uses, and we cannot survive without it. It is one of our necessities.
However, the water resources are not evenly distributed across the globe. Also, due to global warming and droughts, many countries are now facing the problem of water shortage. Many people do not have access to clean water like we do. Good! Do you still remember the situation of freshwater consumption in Hong Kong?
Yes, the average daily domestic freshwater consumption in Hong Kong is 130 litres per person.
The freshwater consumption by domestic use is the highest. Meanwhile, the water is also used for service trades, flushing, industries, government establishments, construction and shipping.
For the water resources in Hong Kong, they are the rainwater from local catchments, imported water from Dongjiang in Guangdong, and the seawater for toilet flushing.
Most importantly, we have learnt that we should be grateful to have a safe and reliable drinking water supply. Although Hong Kong does not have the problem of water shortage now, many countries do. Therefore, we should cherish water. Very good. We now understand the importance of water resources. Let's work hard together on water conservation.
Yes, sir.